again, Dave's behind the camera with NC Beer Guys, and welcome to another episode of NC Beer Buzz. We found our way back to Triple C, one of our favorite brewers in Charlotte. We heard they were doing some great new things, and of course, if you've watched our beer buzzes in the past, we've been here before, we know these guys, we love them, and we wanted to come see what they've done new and great. So Chris Harker's with us. Thanks for having us in, Chris.
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for being here.
Of course. So we're going to start with one of the pieces of new equipment, and we're going to just go through, and he's going to show us what the great expansion is at Triple C. For those of you who don't know, we're right off the rail station line right here on the south side of Charlotte, the Burn Street station?
Yeah, New Bern.
New Bern station, okay. So it's easy to get to and easy to get out of. So when you're next in that side of town, make sure you're stopping at Triple C. So we've got a whirlpool.
Yes, sir.
So what does it allow us to do?
Well, we've added some bigger fermenting tanks that take us 4 brews to fill. So we added a 3rd vessel to our brew house to help accommodate that. And you know, when you're double, triple, quad batching, it'll cut a couple hours off each cycle. So really get the beer in the tanks faster and get our guys out of here a little quicker.
Right. And is it a local supplier or
it's the same guy we bought all our equipment from out in Oregon.
Okay.
So they've done a good job. We stuck with them.
Right. Good. So we moved into the back part of the brew, which used to be just lots of extra storage. These guys thought ahead when they started a few years back. And as you can see, all these beautiful empty cans behind us. One of the things that Chris is real proud of course, is his new canning line. So tell us about what we got going.
Yeah, it's very exciting. We just started canning last week. So we poured another fermentation pad with a drain and added 2 60-barrel fermenters and a 60-barrel bright tank. And predominantly the beer that'll go in these tanks are the ones we're canning, which right now are our 3C IPA and our Golden Boy, which we'll can directly off this bright tank. So we got a Wild Goose canner. It does 16-ounce cans. It really hums. We've run it twice now. So,
and what kind of speed, volume, how does it turn out? How much beer does it turn out in an hour or minutes, or how does that?
It does, I forget the exact numbers, but it hums. I mean, it was doing 5-6 cans a minute, and I don't think we had it quite running. You know, we're still dialing it in.
Figuring it out, right.
But I forget the exact numbers, but it's pretty quick. It's the same canning line the mobile canners use that you see a lot of people
back up the truck to the back door and can.
But,
so with the new can capacity, obviously we're going to do some more distribution. So where are we headed? You've self-distributed to this point.
Yes, sir.
Where are we moving?
We've actually just signed a deal with Tryon Distributing, who are statewide in North Carolina. We're going to continue to handle our local draft accounts.
Self-distribute locally to accounts.
And our retail bottle shops. And they're going to take over the Harris Teeters for us. And then we're going to slowly start breaking into other markets around the state, like the Triangle. And
through Tryon.
Through Tryon, that's right. We want to take it slowly and make sure we have enough beer for
you've always
everybody.
You've always had that goal. You knew you had some long-term aspirations, but you also said early on, we want to do it right for Charlotte first.
Yeah.
We've got to get our ducks in a row here, satisfy our customer base here.
Sure.
But now it's been 2 or 3 years you're in, it's time to grow and expand, and you're obviously doing that.
Yes, sir, but we want to have plenty of beer for our existing customers.
Of course.
You know, they're the folks that got us here. We're not going to forget them.
Right. Good. So if you follow Triple C around and drank some of their brew in the past, you know, they've always had some beer that were bourbon aged, barrel aged, and now we see all these great new barrels. So we want Chris to tell us about the barrels and what's going on in addition to the expansion.
Yeah, one of the nice things about having the canning line is it takes some of our year-round beers out of bombers and into cans, and so we wanted to expand our barrel age program and keep our bottling line busy. So we've got an Imperial Honey Wheat in these barrels. We're calling that beer Kind of a Big Deal, and we're actually going to make another version of it later. We're going to do 2 variants, one with tart cherries and one with peaches. And then these barrels are all full too. That's a smoked porter that we just racked on Friday or Thursday. And then these barrels are all freshly dumped bourbon barrels that are empty right now that we'll fill. Up All Night will go in there. We got some other tricks up our sleeve.
So for our viewers who don't know, what you get these raw barrels in, empty.
Yep.
What's the process before? I mean, you can't exactly clean them out.
No.
What do you do to them?
Well, luckily that's why you need them freshly dumped.
Okay.
You know that the
They're
liquor
still
that's
wet.
in there is so high alcohol content that there's nothing can really live in there.
And you don't have to rinse them or wash them or anything
before
you put beer right back on top.
You know, if there's a lot of liquid in there, we dump that out. But you want that bourbon in there.
And how many? So, and once you've brewed in them, then you've got less of what the barrel was originally.
Right.
So, but you can reuse them for the lesser barrel.
We use them twice, and we kind of cycle. We'll use half brand new, freshly dumped ones, and cycle
and then mix
twice used ones.
Right.
And then we get rid of those. We've made tables out of them, planters. You know, local homebrewers ask for them. people decorate their bars with.
Sure.
So they're pretty easy to get rid of.
And where do you mostly get your barrels?
We use a broker because it's gotten very popular. So they're harder and harder to come by.
Everybody says that.
And we're actually not able to get any rum barrels like we wanted this year. So we're going to have to. We're not going to be able to do our Imperial milk stout, the Dude and Vibes. It was our white Russian beer. So
with the rum.
It doesn't make sense not to have rum.
That's right.
But I think we're going to do our Force again, which is that Belgian triple, but use tequila barrels because we can't get rum barrels. So it'll be interesting to see what that does.
And as we were panning around, I saw a couple other things that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
We've got a bandstand.
Yeah.
So we have live music in the front sometimes.
Yep.
But for the bigger events, you can actually bring a band now in and have open up the whole back.
Yeah, we've actually had this stage since we opened. It used to be over there.
Okay.
And we've had some pretty big bands back here. There's no air conditioning, so it's kind of limited to the right kind of months.
Right.
But we've had John Keane played back here, who's one of my musical idols. We've had a lot of charity events, dog events. Charlotte Pride's doing a dog fashion show back here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
We've got a.
And they've done that before, but not here. They've done that.
They did it here as well.
Oh, they did it here. Okay.
Canine Couture, they call it. So yeah, it's a nice way to give back to the local community to have this big space.
And you've got something that's going to allow you, it looks like, to cart your stuff outside and serve.
Yeah, we just purchased a new kegerator that's got 7 taps on it. So I don't think you can fit 7 kegs in there, but we'll try and figure out a way to have 7 beers going.
And that's just mobile on wheels that can roll outside.
Yeah, we set it up in the garage door on Saturdays and then sometimes on Thursdays for our run club. And then the last part of our expansion is on the outside of this garage door is our new grain silo.
And Dave, if you want to just turn around, one of the new additions to the plant facility is this great big door. And tell us about, you told us off camera, but tell our viewers about how you had to put a door in. A bigger door. You don't think about these things. He goes to canning, and all of a sudden he realizes he got to get the cans into the building.
Yep. The canning manufacturer was very specific, telling us how tall these things are, and it's expensive to get the pallet changed to a different height. So instead of doing that, we just put in a taller door. So it should pay for
that's a one-time cost because you were going to have to do that every time you put a pallet of cans in. Pay the upcharge for them breaking down the pallet.
It's the minimum order for 16-ounce cans is 160,000 cans, so it adds up pretty quickly.
Right. So you could afford a door.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go outside and see the tank. So Chris, as Dave pans down our great big new grain silo, which is full, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about how you acquired it and why you got it and why you needed it.
Well, this was the last part of our expansion. We're waiting on some grain handling equipment to get here before we start using it. But the nice thing about this is it brings our bulk pricing down a lot, and we use our base malt in there, which goes in all our beers. And then
and how much does it hold?
It holds 60,000 pounds. We're filling it with 40,000 at a time.
Okay.
And we're not, our staff's not having to mess with 50-pound bags anymore, and it makes us a little more efficient.
And when it's set up and working, it'll have an auger that goes inside.
Yes, sir. We built a new mill room right on the other side of this brick wall, and then there's a conveyor system that takes the milled grain all the way to the brew house for the mash tun.
So no more, like you said, hauling bags in, malting it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still have to dump our specialty grains.
Sure, but I mean the basic, what you use for every brew.
A much smaller percentage.
Sounds great. Thanks for showing us around.
Thanks, always a pleasure.
Appreciate you having us in. Until next time, this is David Glenn, NC Beer Guys, reminding you to drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina.